One of our last lessons as we walk through this series talking about no more excuses and doing the character study. And today we're looking at going through the motions. We're looking at King Solomon. And when you think about going through the motions, what comes to mind? When you think about somebody just going through the motions, first thing comes to mind? Mimi, what's the first thing comes to mind? When somebody's just going through the motions.
Just living life, existing life.
Okay? She said just living life, just existing. When I looked the definition up this week, it said somebody just doing something, but they don't really believe in it.
Wow.
They just going through the motions. They don't believe. They just doing it.
Wow.
It's meaningless.
Wow.
And that's kind of what King Solomon said. He said, you know what? This is all smoke.
That's right.
This is all nothing.
That's right.
And was the richest man in the world at that time. This brother had more gold and silver than anybody.
That's right.
The Bible said this brother had 300 wives, Brad, and 800 concubines.
Yeah.
Everything.
That's right. That's right.
That's a lot of women,
A
Brad.
lot of women.
I said he had 1,100
Yeah.
women.
Yeah.
I don't know what he done with that.
Yeah.
But the brother had 1,100.
Yeah.
Mimi like, really? Yeah, that's in the Bible. 300 wives,
Yeah.
800 concubines.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
The most intelligent brother, the most wise brother.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what? All of that is nothing. Just smoke. That's what he said. It's nothing. It wasn't fulfilling. And a lot of times, y'all, that's what we do with life. We just go through the motions. That's what happens to us with treatment.
Yeah.
We went family members, I added up, I asked everybody in the room to tell me how many times they've entered into treatment. It was about 15 of us in the room.
Wow.
And we had about 85 times we had entered into treatment.
Wow.
15 people, 85 times they've been in the treatment.
Wow.
So you know there's a whole bunch of going through the motions in that, right?
Yeah.
I'm just here for whatever reason. Just going through the motions. Trying to get my weight back.
Yeah.
Trying to get my family back.
Yeah.
Trying to keep them going to jail.
Yeah.
But I ain't really here to get sober.
Yeah.
I'm just doing whatever I can to accomplish whatever that is in front of me.
Yeah.
Just going through the motion. Oh, you want me to go to treatment? I'll go to treatment.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like we read last week, the little boy said, when his mom said sit in the corner, he said, you know what, I'll sit in the corner,
Yeah.
but I'll be standing up on the inside. I may do what you ask me to do,
Yeah.
but it ain't nothing.
That's right.
Here, it says, if I were to ask you who you are as a person, could you tell me without giving me your name, your occupation, your job title at work, or any of those obvious means we use to identify ourselves? And a lot of times, especially for those of us as men, when you ask us who we are, we tell you what we do or what we have acquired or whatever the case may be. We don't really know who we are as a person. And I think that's why everything is so meaningless, because we don't know who we are.
Yeah.
You know, who are you? Well, I'm a husband. Even if we give the good answer in church, we say, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
That sounds good. They get the people off of it. I'm a child of God.
Yeah.
But we don't even know necessarily what that means. But it sounds good in church.
Wow.
You know.
Wow.
Or we'll say, I am the program director. No, that's what I do.
All right.
When my kids were small, I didn't have a name. You know, you go up to the school and they say, hi, Jalen, Dad.
Yeah.
Hi, Maya, Dad. I'm like, I'm not even a person. I'm just somebody, Dad. That's how little kids go up their hand. They say, hey, Jalen, Dad.
Yeah.
That's Jalen, Dad.
Yeah.
No, my name is Obi or Mr.
Yeah.
Bussy or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Can I become a person?
Person.
No, I'm just somebody, Dad. I seen a little girl the other day. She about 20 something. She said, and she done it to me then. She said, hey, Maya, Dad. Wow. She couldn't get my name right, but she knew that I was
Yeah.
my daughter's dad. That's what she
Yeah.
said. I was like, wow. Still today.
Yeah.
But you got to know who you are.
That's right.
You know, and what your purpose is. And a lot of times that's why we just go through the motions, because we don't know who we are.
Who we are.
If we were to simply say, tell me who you are, what would you say? And a lot of times, my uncle, he was a football coach for middle school. And he had been there about 38 years. And when I asked him, I said, "Uncle, when you going to retire?" He said, "Man, I'm Coach Turner." He said, "If I retire, I'm nobody."
Wow.
And I was like, wow. And he was a successful man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But outside of his career,
Right.
he didn't necessarily know who he was.
Right.
And so he kept doing what he was doing because that's how he identified himself.
Wow.
Because that was meaningful.
Me.
You know, like, shoot, I'm going to go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ain't going to be nothing but you ain't going to be bossing me around. So I go to work.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It says, I say to myself, let's go for it. Experiment with pleasure.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Yeah.
But there was nothing to it. Nothing but smoke.
Smoke.
What do I think of it? Fun-filled life. Insanity.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
My verdict on the pursuit of happiness. Who needs it? We search for pleasure.
Oh my.
We search for pleasure.
We search for pleasure.
In however,
Mm-hmm.
in whatever.
Yeah.
Because you know what? We're in this time where we just want to be happy.
Yeah.
And they tell me something that didn't make sense to me when I first came to Christ. They said, you know what? God is not all of that concerned with my happiness.
That's right.
And I thought God, number one goal was to make Obi happy.
My.
And they said, no,
That's
God is concerned about my holiness,
That's right.
not my happiness. And you know what, y'all? Holiness don't always make me happy.
That's right. That's right.
Being faithful or being obedient don't always make you happy.
That's right.
That's why we struggle with it.
Yeah.
Especially in this time, in this culture, everybody just want to be happy.
That's right.
Well, living right, y'all, sobriety ain't always pleasurable.
That's right. That's right.
And that's what throws us off, because we want to be happy.
Won't be happy.
And we live in a culture and a time now you can't even disappoint people.
Yeah.
You hurt somebody's feelings, boy, it's on.
Yeah. Yeah.
They mad.
That's right.
But we search for that, y'all, and it ain't about you being happy. It's about you know, paying bills don't make you happy.
That's right. That's right.
Do it.
That's right. That's right.
You get your little 10 pennies and you pay all of your bills and be responsible and you got 2 pennies left, that don't always make you happy.
No sir.
But it's the right thing to do, right?
Right. That's right.
Especially because you get to live the rest of the month.
Yeah.
They come turn your lights off, that makes you more unhappy than spending your little money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's hot.
That's right.
No lights, no air.
My.
They kind of go together.
Yeah.
So pleasure. So guess what, Ross? Sobriety don't always make us happy.
Oh my.
You know that?
Oh my.
Right. Sobriety ain't always pleasurable.
Wow.
You know why? It seems restrictive. Because in the beginning, Nick, it just seems like I'm bombarded with a whole bunch of things that I can't do.
Okay.
When Adam and Eve was in the garden, God said, you can have all of this, right?
Yeah.
Except
That's it.
don't eat of this tree
Yeah.
or this fruit.
Yeah.
And we're just like him. It can be a whole garden of things that we can do.
Yeah.
But if you tell me that one thing that I can't do, I get fixated on that one and ain't nothing no good.
That's right. That's right.
And so now I can have no pleasure.
Yeah.
Instead of me going out and eating up all of the fruits and doing all of the things that I can,
Yeah.
I'm fixated on that one thing that I can't have.
I can't have it.
And so I can't have pleasure.
That's right. That's right.
But we search for it.
Yeah.
And we searching for the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Somebody read Ecclesiastes 2:11.
Then I took a good look at everything I had done, looked at all the sweat and hard work, but when I looked, I saw nothing but smoke. Smoke and spitting in the wind, and there was nothing to any of it, nothing.
Nothing.
Wow. Check this out right here, y'all. Y'all believe this?
Oh.
He who dies with the most toys wins.
Oh my no. Oh my.
He who dies with the most toys wins.
Oh my.
We are gatherers and hunters. And especially those of us as men, we identify. You say, hey man, that's your car. You know what we say? That's me.
Yeah.
That's your woman? Yeah. That's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I own her. That's me.
That's me. That's me.
It's gonna be a rough evening when I leave here. Y'all protect me, all right? But y'all know that's how we look at it. So if we can gather these things,
Yeah.
then we're somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if we don't have those things, then you know what? We're nobody.
My.
Is that true?
No.
If you have a whole bunch of toys, you're somebody.
Nope.
And if you don't have no toys, you nobody.
Nope.
Well, sir,
Not true.
that's how the world look at it.
They lied. Both of those men who said nope is a lie from the pits of hell.
From the pits of hell.
Now, we may know doctrinally and in reality, but that ain't how we live, right? We get some stuff, we feel good about ourselves. We don't have nothing, we feel bad because we live in a society that's, you know, they say Dallas is not as racial as it is economic. You know, if you can get a certain amount of stuff, then that kind of overrides the racism that's in the city. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but you know, that's what they say. You know, if you can buy your way out of a certain situation, then you're socially acceptable.
Wow.
Then who are you
Wow.
as a black man? Oh no, he lives over here. He went to this school.
Yeah.
He does such and such.
Yeah.
He's one of the good ones.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's right.
What the city does.
That's right.
Y'all know that's true. It sounds ugly.
That's right.
But it ain't true though, because you know they let you know. But still, he who has the most toys wins.
My.
Why are those toys so important to you? The stuff that means something to you. Why does it mean so much? And for those of us in recovery, we think. Let me say it this way. Maybe this may resonate. They say recovery is an inside job, right? But we only work on the outside things. So my full goal is I got to do this, and this.
Okay.
Then I feel good about myself.
Okay.
You know, and I work on the outside, Janika, and not the inside.
My.
You know, they say a lot of us, we don't know who we are outside of a relationship. That's why when we first get clean, we gotta boo up.
That's right.
Because if I'm not in a relationship, I'm nobody.
Wow.
Because I see myself as it.
Wow.
Those of us who are parents, a lot of times that's how we see ourselves. And that's why we go into a depression when the kid's grown and gone. You know, when it's time to have fun, we self-destruct.
Wow.
Become empty nester. Why? Because that's who I had become. I had become a parent, and that was all that I was.
Wow.
But I am so happy mine is
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard this comedian that came to this church, and she said, you get 18 years and 60 days.
60 days.
I never will forget that. Boy, my kids were small. I told them that every day. You get 18 years
Yeah.
and 60 days
60 days.
to get up out of here.
Yeah.
You either going to college, you going to the military, or you going to get you a job and I help you get a place. But all you get
Yeah.
18 years,
Yeah.
60 days. All of them know that by heart.
Yeah.
We working on that. Mel was like, that's all? But what about? Nope.
Nope.
18 years,
60 days.
60 days.
That's good stuff.
That's what I said, wasn't it?
That's what you say.
Yeah, absolutely. They gone, right?
They're gone.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Them people will come back and try to stay with you forever.
Yeah.
They will.
Them people.
Huh?
Say them people.
Them people, they will.
Yeah.
Somebody, Ecclesiastes 2 and 12. I'm sorry.
And I turn myself to behold wisdom and madness and folly. For what can the man do that cometh after the king, even that which hath been already done?
We search for wisdom.
Yeah.
We search for wisdom.
Yeah.
Now, this brother was, he had 800 wives, 800 concubines and 300 wives. He had all of the gold and silver and all of that stuff, right? So pleasure was something that came readily for him. The Bible says he was one of the wisest men of his time.
That's right.
So he had all of that,
Yeah.
and he was smart, and each time it says it was nothing.
Yeah.
It was nothing.
It was nothing. Nothing.
I love this quote right here. It says, knowledge comes from learning. Wisdom comes from living. It's a difference between knowledge
That's right.
and wisdom.
That's right.
There's a whole bunch of smart people,
That's right.
but they ain't necessarily that wise.
That's right.
You can be smart
Yeah.
and not wise.
That's right.
We see that in the rooms all the time, because you see people that can quote the literature backwards and forward,
That's
but
right.
be stunningly smoking.
That's
You
right.
see people who know the Bible backwards and forwards, but it don't change their lives.
Don't change the
They have a whole bunch of knowledge,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. Shoot, when I fell off August the 1st of 1992, well, I could quote the big book backwards and forward. We're still smoking.
Still smoking.
It didn't stop me because I did not move from the knowledge to the wisdom. I didn't know how to apply that stuff that I had learned.
My mind.
And so we learn this information
Yeah.
so that we can apply it.
Apply
And if you just learn it for self-edification,
it. My mind.
and that's what I liked. I liked that I could quote it.
My mind.
Obi, what is Philippians 4 and 13? It is. and I would say it with me. Yeah. They was like, that boy going somewhere. But I had a bunch of knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
If somebody had been to 8 or 9, 10 treatment centers, don't you think they got knowledge?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they love it when they come in here and they have more knowledge than me, but their sobriety rate is different than mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's always a meeting after the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
When I get through teaching, it's always one or two that'll bring them back and say,
Yeah.
that wasn't necessarily doctrinally correct.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And then they teach the class and they tell them, no, he kind of missed that. But they got 2 days clean and I got 25. And guess what? They be right too. They just don't know how to apply that, which they know.
That's it. That's it.
I think it's funny.
That's funny.
That was not necessarily
Yeah,
doctrinally
doctrinally
correct.
Yeah, that's right.
Funny.
Therefore.
Smoking.
Yeah.
Ecclesiastes 2 and 17. Someone?
Therefore I hated life, because the work that is right, that is wrought under the sun is grievous unto me. All is in vanity and vexation of spirit.
We search for work. We search for work. Now, the Bible says if a man don't work, he shouldn't eat, right? So it ain't talking about that kind of work.
Yeah.
But we search for work as meaningful.
Yeah.
I seen this show, me and my wife love these shows about trying to find a house and redoing houses. And it spoke to me. I seen my dream. It was this brother. He had some kids, my wife always say. But anyway, he didn't have no job. He was a house husband.
Wow.
And his wife was a doctor. And they found one house, it was about 30 minutes away from from where she worked. And another one was about 45 minutes an hour. And you know what? She bought the house. That was an hour for her to commute there and back because it had the kitchen that he wanted.
Wow.
And he was a house husband. That was his title. And it spoke to me. I said, that is my dream. And I've been asking ever since that I want to be a what? So y'all speak to that sister and say, you know what? Let that brother be a house husband. And I don't even know, he just dancing through the whole show. He was dancing. He was just dancing the whole show. Every time he was just dancing. He was the happiest man in the world. He was a house husband. And I said, that is my dream. To become. Phil White looked at me like, really? That's it? That's a house husband.
As soon as I become a doctor, I'm gonna make you a house husband, man.
There you go, where you get
So I guess I'll see y'all Monday. We search for work, y'all. I say that to say we have to have a job. Because ain't nobody gonna take care of us.
Right.
But the meaning of who you are ain't in the job.
That's
That's
right.
just what you do. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference between what you do and who you are.
Yeah.
And since brothers, they ain't gonna let us be house husbands, we may have to go to work.
I know. Right.
But I don't know. We're gonna have a meeting on Monday on how to appropriately ask. Maybe I didn't ask correctly. That's what it was. Think that what it was, Theo? Think what it was? It don't matter? He was dancing though. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe if I learn how to dance right. But he had kids. He was a house husband. Never will forget that. That was about 5 years ago. That spoke to me in my soul.
Then you're still not a house husband.
And I'm still not. But guess what?
Well, with a shoot.
I'm still asking though. I ask about once a month.
You better
I'm gonna keep asking.
Keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. But this is big, y'all, because we are doers. God created us as doers.
Yeah.
And when we can't do, I see that, sisters, this ain't on the paper. Those of you all who come with somebody, because us as men, and we identify as gatherers and hunters, and when we can't hunt appropriately, we don't feel good about ourselves, and the roles of the house has shifted.
Wow.
We're not the head of the household anymore, y'all are.
Wow.
And how do you allow that brother, sister, I'm coming to you, you're the only one I see in here. How do you allow Theo to be an integral part of the house when you don't trust him? But you want to build that brother's self-esteem, but you don't trust him. So it's time to make a decision. How you going to handle that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Use your words.
Oh, that's not a report for you. Wow, because I know that man is gonna come. I don't know, I guess it's just one day at a time, you know, that's what I keep going back to, and,
Let me help you. Something that's really, really good. And I want you to remember this. Baby, what do you think? Try it. Yeah, y'all gonna do what you're gonna do anyway. But we feel good even when you just say, baby, what do you think? I'm wanting to do this right here. What do you think? At least acknowledge us.
Okay.
But that's hard because we've lost that. And I see it so often where brothers go home and they try to insert, now sometimes we do it wrong, we try to insert our authority. But sometimes y'all don't even want our information. Because we give y'all our opinion and y'all be like, please. I don't want your opinion. I don't want nothing. Because you done messed it up. So you can't even speak on nothing.
Wow. Wow.
She's shaking her head. Oh my God.
Wow.
But y'all, it's hard for us to stay sober when we don't have no opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
That didn't go over well. That one fell flat. But it's hard for us because we search for work, meaning, and those of us as men, and so when we don't have that, it's hard for us because we're looking for that. And the only way that we know how to be that is gathering. So, okay, I ain't got no money. I ain't got no job. My woman don't believe in me. My kids don't respect me.
Wow.
So who am I?
Wow.
I ain't got no job.
Wow. Wow.
Wife don't trust me. Kids don't respect me.
Wow.
Who am I?
Who am I?
That's how we come here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Especially those of us as men. And so we're needing, we need y'all to help us in that area.
Yeah.
And if not, we be in trouble. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. So, I mean, we've experienced this before, coming out of a relapse. So how do you trust a person? I think that one time I gave too much for you and too much input. So how do you find that balance where you're not giving the person too much say?
That's why I say you invite them in as their, what do you think? That don't mean that you hand him the bank book. You ask him his opinion. You make him feel like a man. That can even count while you're here. Now, obviously here, he can't really contribute. You just saying, baby, this is the decision I'm making. What do you think? Because guess what? There are some areas where we're subject matter experts. I learned that word a few years ago. That although we can't carry it out, we got some knowledge on some matters. And so you can get our opinion on it. And we got to learn that, you know what? I can give my opinion. That don't mean you're going to take it. And I read this book one time. I went to this conference, and it says that in relationships, sometimes you got to let your mate fail. Even if it's going to hurt you as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I give an example, and I tell you this joke that Cheryl Underwood said. I was in a bad space when my wife and I got married. And I had got left here, got let go from the other job that I was at, and I was going to start a transitional house. I was nowhere emotionally ready to do that. I think that sister knew it.
Wow.
And so we invested several $1,000s into this thing. It didn't go nowhere.
Wow.
Thank God that sister ain't never said anything. Like, you must got to be the dumbest man in the world. You done lost my money.
Wow.
What she done, I think she heard this joke. Cheryl Underwood said that her husband came home and he said he gonna be an astronaut. And she said, I just went in the room and made him a spacesuit. I knew this brother was not going to become an astronaut. But she went in there and made him a spacesuit. And when that brother went outside, she called the neighbors and she said, girl, look at this fool walking out of the house in this spacesuit. She knew that.
Yeah.
So sometimes, sister, you got to go in there and sew a spacesuit.
Yeah.